car were slightly ambitious. I had very simple design, so not that crazy. You can see all my crazy notes here. And I wasn't originally going to 3D print the whole thing, but I was going to use like wooden dowels probably, and use these plastic rings that I'll find one of them. This is actually the one with all the dimensions on it properly. And then I was gonna make a full arm that was 3D printed with the rings incorporated into it. I'm not really sure what that was. This bottom version here is basically just this top version, but I made I kind of came up with an idea I wanted to do a fiberglass shell over it, so it wouldn't so it'd be more aerodynamic, which is kind of stupid, but. So I came up with this other idea here, where it's basically my first version, but I have multiple mouse traps where each sets off the next, which I'm not sure how it would work. And also it does break the rules, so oh well. So this right here is my current design of what I used. It's my small front wheel, large rear wheel, except they're actually the same size, in my actual version. And it uses a gear ratio here, directly from the mousetrap. So yeah. So this was my first version of my mousetrap arm, which is the actual version here of what I have now. It failed because it's actually this piece here had some issues where it broke off and just wasn't quite strong enough. Then we went to this version here where it has the arm, and I made it too strong when I added this, and just kind of pointless, and it got in the way. So I went to this version here where it removed that arm, but it was still too short because it didn't go all the way across. It's basically this version here. Then I went over to made it longer, and this is that piece where it goes all the way across. And then here's the other half of it. So that first section I showed, and then this arm here. So this right here is the first version of the frame I've made. It's not particularly good, but you can see it doesn't also follow the rules, but two spots for mousetraps to be set in, a hole for a axle, another hole, and another hole here. But you can also see it's too big for the print bed, so it would have to be broken up. That's also what I did on this version. I can show in just a second. Here, it was this here. You can see it's too long for my print bed, so I plastic welded right here and right here, and that caused some issues with warping and stuff, but it's mostly okay. But before making that one, I had this part here, which was two halves that I also plastic welded, and I did print this one out. This is somebody else's design. You can see where I had some issues with it peeling off of the bed, and it messed with the shape of the holes. This side's fine though, and over here do have some issues, but that's dealt with. So this is the gear reduction wheel for this frame here that I had. You can see where the axle had gone through. Here, I printed it out. This is the part itself. For this mousetrap here, for this version, I used a different gear reduction wheel that I made myself, which, here's the original version of it, but I changed it. I changed my spars, where instead of them being rounded with a hole insert thing, in the modeling process, and this was a square here, as you can kind of see there's the sharp corners. I changed it where it's a circle in the center, and these were just cylinders going out. So I've sketched up these pieces here, which is the bearing holder piece that I mentioned earlier. Here's another version of it where I drew a bearing into it. Here's the piece that I like when I 3D modeled it. It's not particularly good. It's pretty simple, but it's just kind of a hole in there, and it's just kind of a circle, and a bearing would be press fitted into it, like just kind of press fitted on there. But I printed one and decided not to use it because it just didn't really print right, because I had these sagging issues on like here, where it's just a straight overhang and it just didn't work right.
Oh, what happened? So what went wrong?
My gear ratio is shitty.
So how do you fix it?
It's too heavy, and also this gear ratio here is like
Wee and just spins. You can watch if you want. It's nothing impressive.
You need more tension on that.
That? Yeah, well, I've been trying to get more tension on it, but I just, like, straight up just can't.
Well, so we need to try something else.
I've been slowly adding more plastic down there, so it'll be slightly better. Where am I getting caught? It just pops right off.
Okay. So what I'm seeing is that your wheel, your gear ratio, everything works except for the wheel is not holding the string.
This needs to get bigger. I'm slowly making it larger.
Well, why don't you print a piece?
It's just to get a piece on there because it's all melted plastic over here and here. It's not.
Oh, you'd have to reset.
So this here, this arm, this string around my finger. See, this part here is kind of isn't really getting a good grip on there. So I originally bought these bearings. I bought a whole bunch of them. They're just cheap little steel bearings. They really don't roll well. You just they don't really roll at all actually. You just kind of spin them. They don't keep going though. They're just cheap steel bearings. I should have done more research originally. Then I did a little bit more research and I got these ceramic bearings, which came in a very nice case. But they're this brand. I found very expensive sets of bearings, up to almost $300, I believe, is what I found was the most expensive I found. But these are about $20 for the set, and they spin decently well, just straight out the box. But this one I've been playing with for a while, and it just keeps on spinning. Now that's due to it being unique. Keep on just playing with it, puts wear on it, and it loosens up further. The downside to that, though, is stuff can get in it, and sometimes it does get a little bit jammed now, but most of the time it works perfectly fine. So this is my final product of the car. You can see that I have my arm here, and it connects. This is the plastic H kind of shaped piece. I need to change this out for a piece of string, because no rubber bands. It also, it stretches and kind of causes issues. And I just kind of wrap it around here and just tie a string across. We have our gear reduction here. It used a rubber band to keep tension. And we used CDs on each wheel. There are bearings in between on all the axles here. I have tape around this CD for extra traction. I'm probably going to remove it though. These are plastic, like just plastic melted onto them to hold them in place. So is here, and to hold this in place here. I melted plastic to hold this in, like the mousetrap itself. Flip it here, you can see all the underside, which is just pretty bare. It weighs about 0.4 pounds, so it's a little bit heavier than I'd like it, but it's okay.